What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the pseudo debut album by rock band Cinema Bizarre. Basically, this project is called Bang and it came out in the summer of 2009. So I say pseudo debut album because their actual debut album was Final Attraction, which I reviewed with Jackal Goldkick back in early 2022. But this is their debut United States album as they were starting to cross over to the United States market. But they do have a second album that was kind of an amalgamation of Final Attraction and that particular album, or that was a kind of amalgamation of this particular album and Final Attraction, which was called Toys, which came out also in the summer of 2009. So it's a good pitch to kind of get that particular one. But this is the last Cinema Bizarre true album as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. It's kind of unfortunate just because they were really starting to blow up around this time. They were on tour with Lady Gaga and stuff like that. So they had a number of things that they were particularly kind of doing and such. They were going on a bunch of tours, getting bigger in the United States market, things like that. As far as that pitch started to happen, they had a pretty moderate amount of success with the Final Attraction album from 2007. So they were doing good for themselves. But then in early 2010, they decided to break up for kind of relatively unknown kind of reasons, just here and there, just personal reasons, just things like that. As far as that pitch kind of particularly happened with it, and they just never came back. Now, Jack Strifey, the vocalist of this particular band, has had a solo career. He did at least drop an EP called Glitter and Dirt, which I reviewed back in the summer of 2022, and he has another album called Illusion. And there's like a guitarist from Cinema Bizarre that has like a few projects out, some stuff like that. It's called like Monochrome, something like that. It's called like Monochrome something or other. I'll have to look it up or put it in like text for y'all to see as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But yeah, this is basically some hit quality stuff here. I'd have to say just some good stuff overall. This album does kind of go out with a bang. I'd have to suppose there's some good context to kind of get from Cinema Bizarre and stuff. This is kind of unfortunate. Now, the thing about this particular album, something I noticed that Wikipedia and Spotify both pulled the Final Attraction album from their platforms. So a few years ago, Wikipedia used to have an article written about the Cinema Bizarre album Final Attraction, and that's kind of a disappointment that they don't have any information about that album anymore because it's a pretty solid album. I would definitely have to recommend getting it. It has a ton of hits on there, I'd have to suppose. And then also, Spotify no longer has Final Attraction on Spotify, so it's kind of an unfortunate thing about it. I don't know why that album's kind of become more of a mystery nowadays, and there's just less information kind of known about it because it's pretty quality stuff. I kind of feel like for the most part they're kind of seen almost like one hit wonders, and they definitely have more hits than just I Came to Party and some of that type of stuff. They do have three singles off of Final Attraction that made a lot of noise. It's just some good stuff. I would definitely have to say about Final Attraction that that's like some makeshift kind of haze. It's very similar to like Tokyo Hotel. I'd have to suppose some stuff like that. I reviewed a bunch of their projects like last year. I reviewed Final Attraction in early 2022, like I said, with Jackal Goldkick. So that's some good pitches to kind of get on that. But it's just kind of that's some good concepts to kind of get on that. But off this particular album, I just would have to say it's just kind of weird that the fact of the mythos about Cinema Bizarre is just becoming more mysterious and less kind of concrete as far as those particular details going to happen. As time starts to go along, things start to become less known about Cinema Bizarre, and that's kind of unfortunate because there were some quality musicians. I would definitely have to suppose they definitely had some things going for them for a good pitch. Now, Jackal Goldkick years ago showed me a song off this particular album called "I Came to Party" with Space Cowboy. I'd have to suppose I probably will eventually post the voice clip of what I thought of that particular song from 2021 as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But yeah, there were two singles off this particular album. The first one was I Came to Party, which is the song that Jackal Goldkick showed me years ago, like I was talking about. This is a pretty quality hit single here, I'd have to say. I Came to Party, the first single, is like a synthy kind of Lady Gaga like dance club blaze of a song, I'd have to suppose. This is just an excellent kind of jivey hopper. I would definitely feel like it's just a rave night for some glitzy kind of times, I would definitely suppose. So this is some good stuff here. Really has a snappy kind of tempo, just overall hit quality here. Probably one of the album's best songs, I'd have to say. Just very immediate and just kind of. So I Came to Party is a very immediate and electric type song that just has a lot of quality about it. Just an easy kind of highlight and definitely one that you should gravitate to pretty quickly, I'd have to suppose. This is probably one of Cinema Bizarre's best songs, I'd have to say, even today, as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. It's just a good concept. It's a lasting and durable kind of song. Definitely some quality stuff that should take you back to the late 2000s, early 2010s, as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Just an excellent little dance club hopper, I definitely feel like. My Obsession's the second single, and I think this song had to do with why Cinema Bizarre kind of broke up, because apparently this song got leaked in 2009 when they were supposed to drop it as the lead single, and then they dropped it later, but it's just kind of the concept. I think they were kind of disappointed. I think they were kind of disappointed that the song leaked, and I think it kind of affected them. So it's kind of the concept about it. But this is basically like a morose, kind of dark piano, kind of sobering ballad. I would have to say it's a real nice one. And it's a real nice one in that sort of pitch. It's a catchy, kind of haunting feel that this song particularly kind of has, and it's just some grim makeshift kind of ruminating tune. And this is just a grim kind of makeshift ruminating tune, I'd have to suppose. This is a pretty highlighted one. I can definitely see the appeal of this particular song. It's a different pitch than I Came to Party. That one was a little bit more snappy, but this one's kind of like a chugging along kind of dark piano ballad. I like the sobering kind of feel of this particular song. It's just very morose as far as that pitch kind of happens with it, but it is catchy, I would have to suppose. So it's kind of like a down tempo type song, but it's just very affable and like its electric kind of energy and just the overall haunting feel that it kind of portrays as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. There's just a lot of moroseness. They retain that from their 2007 stuff, and they have it particularly on here. It's just some good stuff to kind of get this, but it does have kind of like a makeshift feel. It's just too bad that this album didn't have more kind of singles pronounced. It's just too bad that this album didn't have more singles from it, because I definitely think this band could have gotten a lot larger as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Definitely a direct kind of thing as far as that pitch kind of goes with it. Definitely a direct sort of thing as far as that kind of goes with it. So I would have to say out of the 14 songs in this particular album, I wound up recommending to you 11. And the thing about it is, like I was saying, is there's some songs from Final Attraction on this particular album. So 2 of those are on Final Attraction. I recommend those, but just kind of in an almost song type format. And those songs would be Escape to the Stars and Forever and Ever, both of which were singles off of Final Attraction, I'd have to suppose. And there's also 2 other songs that were on Final Attraction just in a more remix type format, which would be Love Songs They Kill Me, which has a Twiggy Ramirez mix, which Twiggy Ramirez is the guitarist off of Marilyn Manson's. That's a pretty dope concept to kind of get on there. And then the other one is Love Songs, the Dave Odd remix, which is kind of a more bouncy type EDM mix. So but I'll go ahead and recommend the 11 songs I recommend. So we'll go ahead and talk about these. So the 11 songs I recommend would be I Came to Party, My Obsession, Love Songs, the Twiggy Ramirez mix, Love Songs, the Dave Odd mix, Wasted, I Don't Want to Know, Deeper and Deeper, Erase and Replace, and Touching and Kissing. And those are the 9 songs I recommend in the regular format. And then the 2 almost songs would be Escape to the Stars and Forever and Ever. Reason why those are almost songs because they're on Final Attraction. You can just get that album as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But to basically talk about some of these, like the Love Songs Twiggy Ramirez mix is a nice song, I'd have to suppose, but it's virtually identical to like the original song. The unfortunate thing about that song is it's virtually identical to the original song, I'd have to suppose. It's a bit more hazy, I'd have to suppose. Has a little bit of Twiggy's guitar work in there, not terribly much, but just a bit in there. And I'd have to say this is like a hit kind of makeshift malaise of a song. So if you don't know that song from Final Attraction, I'd have to say it's just kind of a malaise type tune. It's just kind of the concept. It's a little bit more hazy this time around, a little bit more ambient and just distorted a bit, but it's just not, it doesn't really enhance the song too much. It's still enough to recommend, but it's just kind of the concept. I still think probably the Final Attraction song is just the better one. It's a good concept, but it doesn't super enhance it. But the Love Songs, the Dave Odd remix, does enhance the song quite a bit. This is a very quality remix, I'd have to suppose. It's like a bouncy kind of EDM mix that boosts the original tune, I'd have to suppose. It's just some good dance jive, definitely. And this is just kind of a snappy radio bop. So I definitely appreciate this particular one. This has a real good snap about it. It's pretty much like a companion piece to I Came to Party. Some good concepts to kind of get that particular one. Good extra kind of bounce on here. There's not a ton of songs that really have that dancing kind of bounce snap. There are some ones on here, but there's a lot of anguish and malaise on this particular project, and you'll see as this album kind of goes along with some good pitches. I definitely think their personality is pretty affable. They're pretty good at ruminating that sort of stuff. Jack Strifey does a great job with some of the stuff on here, so it's some good stuff. But one particular one that's kind of like another makeshift kind of malaise of a song is Wasted. This is a pretty good highlight. This is like a hazy kind of evening makeshift of a song, I'd have to say. This is like a getting ready to step out type tune, I would definitely feel like. Just some up-tempo kind of exhilarating music, I would definitely say. And it's just a melodic, the song is very melodic, and it's just an overall nice gem. So this is the first song you hear on here, just a real snappy kind of one to get. Definitely, this song definitely reminds me of the Final Attraction days or something that Tokyo Hotel would have done. I mean, this is kind of like an international band, so the concept of it, this is a United States album. It's just kind of the pitch that they were kind of crossing over into the United States market. This is just one that's just great for like the evening makeshift, 4:30, 5:30 p.m., something like that as the sun sets. It's kind of a good pitch. Is getting ready to step out. Not quite as crazy as I Came to Party, but definitely a good pitch as getting ready to get to that song as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Touching and Kissing is a pretty good highlight. This is like a haunting nightclub malaise of a song. I would definitely feel like this song has excellent song execution, I would feel like, this overall, and this is just a stock hit outing night, I would definitely feel like. So this one is definitely kind of in the dance club and stuff like that. I definitely feel like there's actually a bunch of songs on this album that are in the dance club. Not all of these are like car malaise and things like that, but some of these are kind of in the dance club. But they do have like some standard anguish and malaise about them as far as that pitch kind of happens. So it's a good concept. But I definitely like the Touching and Kissing type songs. It's just a good affable one to kind of get. really kind of has like the standard appeal of like a nightclub type, really has like the standard appeal of like a nightclub song with like some kind of makeshift kind of anguish about it that just kind of makes it affable in that sort of sense. So that's a good, nice one. Deeper Than Deeper is a pretty quality. Deeper and Deeper is a pretty nice one. This is like a synthy kind of dance club highlight, I would have to suppose. This is like a night haze, and this is just some regular. This is definitely some night haze, and this is like some regular evening fare, I would have to say. And it's just a quality stock album cut, I would definitely feel like. So this one's pretty similar to I Came to Party, just another kind of dark synthy type one to kind of get. Definitely some kind of ritzy kind of definitely some kind of ritzy kind of Breathe Carolina type music as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Just something circa that you would have heard throughout 2009 to late 2008, early 2010 as far as that pitch kind of happens. Very relevant to like the late 2000s as far as that pitch kind of happens. Definitely something like Cobra Starship, Breathe Carolina, some of those type folks as far as that pitch kind of happens. Just a real nice synthy dance club highlight. Just pretty much has a pretty solid amount of bounce, but I'd have to suppose that's a pretty highlighted one. Then I Don't Want to Know is a pretty nice one. I Don't Want to Know If You Got Laid is a pretty nice one. This is a power pop kind of dance tune. I would definitely feel like this has a stretching kind of radio ready dance malaise about it, definitely. And this is just a good sense of motion that this song particularly kind of has. So this is definitely kind of more of like a power ballad type one. Maybe not so much like a power ballad, but just kind of power pop, something that you would get in like a stadium type number, but not really stadium. Just something that's power pop, just has a good powerful emphasis about it. Kind of almost new wave like, just within the sense of something ripped out of the 80s or something like that, late 80s, something within that pitch. That's something that like the Police would have done something within that sort of pitch. It's a good kind of power pop type tune to kind of get. This one just really has like it's a dance tune also. It's a good concept that this is not quite as snappy and quite as Carnage and Electric and Carnivorous is deeper and deeper, and I Came to Party and some of those type ones, or the Love Songs Dave Odd remix. But I'd have to say it's still a pretty good concept to kind of get this kind of power pop type tunes. It's kind of almost like a tapioca and vanilla type dance type tune, but it's just more kind of affable and like a power pop type sense, I'd have to suppose. There's some good car makeshift as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. And then Erase and Replace is a pretty highlighted one. This is like a tense kind of grim rave club and down tempo wind down type music. I would definitely feel like this is like a decent somber blue collar type tune. I would definitely feel, and this is definitely a decent somber blue collar tune. I would definitely feel like so this is a pretty highlighted one. This one just kind of has like a more rave type feeling about it. This is definitely a rave club, I would feel. This type song is definitely good for like a rave club. I would feel like just in a more down tempo kind of distorted type sense. It's a real kind of lackadaisical type one just within the pitch of it. Just really something that you would leave as you're getting ready to exit like a rave, something like that. Just more of like wind down music and just overall more relaxed type fare, just within a more lambic kind of sense. Definitely like the concept and the appeal of it. Jeffree Star was pretty good at doing songs like this, so it's a good pitch to kind of have some more folks that can do this sort of thing. It's just plenty. There's actually plenty of good nightclub and stepping out type moments, but a lot of it's just kind of in between like car life and just makeshift kind of traverse as far as that pitch kind of happens. Just standard blue collar type fare like this song, Erase and Replace, and then like there's another one like I Don't Want to Know. There's songs like My Obsession, I Don't Want to Know, and Erase and Replace that are kind of more standard makeshift type fare. And I would say Wasted is a little bit of that, just kind of just got done with work, some of that type pitch as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But there's just some good concepts that kind of in between like after hours makeshift type tones, just getting done with work, that sort of pitch, and then kind of going to dance clubs and raves as far as that pitch kind of happens with this. So it's definitely some excellent stuff here. So in terms of what I'm going to score this album, I'm going to go ahead and give this album like a 10 out of 10. It just has some real quality stuff on here, I'd have to suppose. Just very impactful, just went out with the bang, just in terms of the pitch of what it had. Just a lot of good song variety, a lot of good stuff, just juggling makeshift kind of days, just juggling makeshift kind of days with dance club kind of nights as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Just a good affable type, just some good steadfast kind of times and affable kind of melodies as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. Just a good concept of just balancing kind of the day life, the night life, some of these type pitches as far as that kind of happens, just with some great singles and just overall great amount of energy. It's just too bad that the My Obsession song leaked and they disbanded as a band later on a few months after this album came out. It's just some disappointing pitches as far as that kind of particularly happened, because I definitely think they could have had better albums than this. I mean, not to say that this is a bad album. It gets a 10 out of 10. It's just kind of the concept. I know they could have done better and topped this particular album and done even better works than this. It would have definitely been a pretty amazing thing to have seen as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But this is definitely a classic album here, I would have to say. Definitely in the terms of like synth pop and pop rock type music and stuff like that. Just the standard kind of EDM and early EDM type nightclub type music. This just works pretty heavily, and even at makeshift, I'd have to suppose. So in terms of the social score, that's going to get a 10 out of 10 also. Now, I kind of feel like two singles is a little bit trite, I'd have to suppose. Kind of the concept just about it. I do feel like they probably could have pushed this album a little bit more, but I think they were kind of malaise and just a little bit kind of disgruntled as far as that pitch kind of happened with it. But I would have to say some good stuff here. Just a good, like I was saying, it's a good balance of nightlife and day life as far as that pitch kind of happens. Just kind of makeshift, just got done with work type tunes, and then some standard nightlife that just has a lot of good pitches. And there's some good songs to get you to shake your ass in dance club as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. So plenty of standard nightlife and just things like that. Just very social type album. Just plenty of hits to kind of connect with your buds, and plenty of good songs to connect with your buds and the ladies as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. So some good stuff. In terms of the future, the unfortunate thing about it is just the fact that Cinema Bizarre is broken up. Jack Strifey at least has a few projects. I'm going to eventually review Illusion as far as that pitch kind of happens. And I might even get to Toys also as far as that pitch kind of happens with some of that type of stuff. So I'd have to say there are a few more. There's some Jack Strifey stuff. There might be that Monochrome band that I was talking about that might have some stuff. And then there's also like one more Cinema Bizarre album as far as that pitch kind of happens with it. But this is definitely a pretty classic album here, and it's definitely a good highlight just to go out with the bang and stuff like that. So I highly recommend this. Also, don't forget about Final Attraction, despite the fact that it seems like they're trying to rub that one out of existence. There is still some quality on that one, so fuck with that one. Also, I'd say get these for like a great 1-2 punch.